All right, I'm ready.
Okay. You you're the host.
What do you? I'm the host. All right.
Yeah.
Welcome to At the Buzzer. Then, how's
Yeah.
that?
I don't I don't know how to control the board, so
Oh, I guess I'm your host, Corey Smith, along with Rubber Shoes. What's up, Rubber Shoes?
not much.
Been a while since we've had a chat. What are we talking about today?
So that's the number one issue on the table up in these parts. I know we're basically supposed to be New England sports, but we touch on other things. So with New England sports wise, we are the number one prospect not only for the Red Sox, but the number one prospect in baseball has been called up and is batting fifth tonight for the Boston Red Sox. Roman Anthony, the start of the Roman Empire. Bring it on. He just hit a 497-foot home run in Worcester over the weekend. So I think
What?
that did it.
Let's
He
say Worcester again.
Worcester.
Worcester. There you go. That's awesome. I'm excited. So,
Yep.
what's his jersey number? Do we know yet?
Do not know. That's funny. We were my wife and I were just talking about that because I think he was wearing 26 in Worcester, which is retired by the Red Sox, Wade Boggs.
Okay.
So who knows? It'll be a surprise.
Maybe 62.
Well, that's what I was thinking. It might be a high number because it's like it seems like when these guys like Jaron Duran came up, he wore number 40 originally. Uh, Raffaello wore number 43. Abreu, I think, kept his number. He came up and wore 52 and kept his number, but they usually give them like high numbers at first when they first come up, and then
Okay.
they'll switch it up, make more money on more jerseys.
We gotta give a shout out to our sponsor. Don't forget our sponsor.
Yes, so we're brought to you by AAA Work Trucks, your one-stop shop for all your work truck needs. If it goes in or on a vehicle, it's a good bet. AAA could take care of it for you. Give them a call at 866-783-6222 or check them out online at aaaworktrucks.com.
I love it.
Yeah, Timmy doesn't let me do that anymore.
You get to do it here. Timmy
Yeah.
ain't here, right? So batting fifth, is that good? Should he be batting higher?
No, that's pretty good for being called up.
What
So
position
he
does he
he
play?
wore number 19 in Worcester, which that I'm pretty sure that number is available. So we'll see
Oh,
if that's a number he wants or yeah, number five, batting fifth is pretty good. It's putting a little bit of pressure on him, but not too much. If you have him batting like second or third, that would be like, okay, kid, you're up here. We need you to do something. Fifth is pretty good, but not. Usually when they really ease you into it, it's you bat an eighth or ninth.
so let's
But
pretend
they re
I know nothing about this kid, right? What positions does he play? What makes him so special?
his bat makes him special. He plays outfield. He's
Okay.
not an all-star outfielder, but he is an all-star bat. That's why they were hoping, you know, uh Rafael Devers would say, "Yes, I'll move to first," and that would have give him an opening to come up and play DH. They don't really care about anything else except his bat. His bat is he's crushing it in Worcester right now. Like he's had um his home runs are just monster shots. Like it's this kid's legit.
I thought they didn't want to bring him up because then they would have gotten the usage out of him and they would have had to get to a contract faster. I
So the I guess that it's changed. It used to be a date like once you brought him up because once you brought him up after some date in June, you used to still have a year of arbitration eligibility. Now it's if if you win rookie of the year or come in I think it's top two or top three in MVP voting for the next 2 years, then it activates like where he can be signed to a real contract sooner. So now
oh,
now it's more of that. So they the thinking was they were going to try and hold him out so he wouldn't be eligible for rookie of the year this year. But they had to bring him up, and on the ride home, everyone there was a lot of baseball seam heads on, and most of them are saying, unless he like goes 0 for 20 or something like that, he's up here to stay. So now it's talk about what's the next peg that's gonna fall once Abreu comes back off the IL. So he was put. I don't know if you heard. William Abreu was put on the IL, and that's why they activated him. So when he comes off of the IL, they have the problem that they had before today. Is they don't have any real room for him. But if he comes up and is playing decent, they're not going to send him back to Worcester. They're going to have to make room for him. So it's been a lot of talk of Jaron Duran being traded to the Padres. There's also, trade talk for Abreu
Why would they
to
want to trade one of those guys?
make room for Anthony. Uh, they
Don't
have too many
in
outfielders.
order to win though? Don't they need those guys in order to win?
Um, so I guess the one of the they have too many players that play the same positions. Unless you're gonna all of a sudden like um, Myers good until Bregman comes back because he plays the infield. He plays third or short. His regular position is short, which I feel their ideal scenario is somehow they get rid of Trevor Story and Meyer takes over at short. Second base, Campbell's there right now, but I don't think he's watching him this year. Although Jaron Duran, when he first came up, was atrocious in the outfield, and now he's a all-star caliber outfielder. So maybe Kristen Campbell comes around and is a better second base, but right now he does not look good at second base. But Rafaela also plays second, so they could possibly move Rafaela, although he's a Gold Glove caliber center fielder. So do you move him to second? You would move Duran to center. Anthony would play left, and Abreu would play right. That's if you want to keep the roster as it is.
All right, now my big question is this going to save Alex Cora's job?
Well, this weekend saved it for the moment. They beat the Yankees 2 out of 3 this weekend, so that helped. I also I still feel like they want to do stuff on the cheap, so that's where I feel like Alex Cora is safe, is because he has a 3-year contract, so he has still over a little over 2.5 years on his contract. They're not gonna get rid of him year one and pay him for 2 more years and then have to pay another manager. I could see them getting rid of him possibly the second half of next year, but things would have to get really bad. I think you're going to see probably Andrew Bailey, the pitching coach. He's probably going to get fired. The pitching is horrible, and you know part of it is Craig Breslow's philosophy is what Andrew Bailey is teaching, and so like Breslow's gonna have to make a philosophy change too. So the thing they came in, big thing in baseball is throw as hard as you can, as much velocity as possible. Well, they thought they were going to be smarter than everyone. So their strategy is more off speed stuff, more shape, curveballs, sliders, more of that stuff. Bless you. And so when they first instituted that philosophy, they took baseball by surprise. Last year, they had a good run. And then for some reason, the second half last year, Major League Baseball made adjustments and caught up to them, and they've looked horrible since. So unless you're, an elite pitcher like Crochet, you can kind of get by with your stuff because you're that good. But everyone else is getting teed off on. So I think they need to. That's their biggest problem is their pitching philosophy right now. So they need to either Andrew Bailey changes the way he's been thinking, or they bring someone else in and just does it for him.
So speaking of the Red Sox, they are playing tonight against Tampa Bay, right? They're in
Yes,
Boston. Yeah,
in Boston. Yep. So Roman
yeah.
Anthony makes his debut in Boston, and it's I didn't see the stats myself, but they were saying it on the radio that the pitcher he's facing has like close to a 4 ERA, so it could be a good matchup for him to for his first game.
Yeah. What a great name though, Roman Anthony. That's
Yeah.
powerful, right?
Yep. So that there his big thing, like in the Mariners, they've been the Roman Empire. They is like his tag.
Is he a big dude?
Um, I feel like he is. It's hard because I've seen a lot of pictures with him and Marcelo Meyer, and Christian Campbell, because they've been the big three, coming up the last year, and they're all pretty big guys. So I'm gonna look it up right now. I'm curious.
Looks like he's going to be wearing number 48.
Ooh, I like that number.
He bats left and throws right. He's 6'3", 200 pounds.
That's a good size.
Yeah, that's big dude.
And
That's
he's
big dude.
all what is he, 20? 22.
22.
22? Yeah. So he'll fill out a little more too. So yeah,
This is that's exciting.
yeah, yeah, it's much watch TV tonight.
Yeah, I might actually watch a game. Speaking of games that we should probably watch, have you been watching the championship game with the Thunder and the Pacers?
So last night there was something else on. I was flipping back. Oh, because the Red Sox Yankees. Because last night was kind of an exciting Red Sox Yankees game. So I was flipping back and forth. I didn't, and then I I had a busy weekend. I had a hockey tournament this weekend, so I was kind of hit the wall right around halftime. So I went to bed. So I didn't see the second half. So, but I love the comeback in game one. It'll see if Indiana's it might be over in five. I think OKC is definitely the better team.
Yeah, but I mean, how awesome would it be if Rick Carlisle took another team that wasn't supposed to be here, like he did with Dallas,
Yeah,
right? And they win the whole thing.
that I'm rooting for Indiana. I really like their team. There's it's not that I hate OKC, but I like Indiana a little better. And they don't, they're the underdog, obviously, and they don't have the elite. And actually, Halliburton was voted the most overrated player in the NBA this past season.
Yeah, I know, I know.
So that would be great too, that he wins it all over the MVP of the league, being voted the most overrated. So
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I think they play tomorrow night, right?
no, I think it's actually Wednesday.
Is it Wednesday?
Yeah, I
Oh,
think it's another 2 days in between, I think.
boy, they're really prolonging this.
Yeah, because
I
it's
saw
yeah, because it was now it's shifts to Indiana, so they give the extra day for travel. Yeah.
I saw in the chat that the ratings aren't where they used to be for this series, just because it's Oklahoma and Indiana, right?
Yeah, that's in so the episode we picked before the finals started that we and or even actually it was still in the semifinals. I said that if it's OKC in Indiana, it'll probably be the lowest ratings ever because there's just no, you have Shea's the MVP, but I don't think there's a lot of buzz around him as far nationally as much as, if you had plus it's only like he's one superstar. Halliburton's not a huge name either, you know? It's like you don't have Jokic, you don't have Tatum, you don't, these guys are still coming up.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. Hopefully, it gets a little bit more exciting. That game one was, I mean, if you stayed up to watch that whole thing, that That was an amazing comeback, right?
Yes. Yep. I did not stay up for that. I'm a I'm a early riser. I get up at 4 in the morning usually, so it's hard to stay up for it. Like I'll stay up when it's my team in it, but to stay up to watch someone else. And actually, so I did stay up and watch the NHL. Um, yeah, we already reported that. My wife just said he's wearing number 48. I'm like, yep, we already knew that.
I'm all over it.
Yep. Um, the double overtime win by Marchand scored. I was able to stay up and watch that because I had a hockey tournament this weekend. I had 2 games on Friday, but then I didn't have another game until Saturday at 5:40 at night. So I got to sleep in on Saturday. So that worked out that I stayed up and watched the whole that I tell you that for me, NHL playoff hockey is the best.
Who are you rooting for in the series?
I'm rooting for Edmonton.
Really, over the
I
Panthers?
yeah, I love Connor McDavid. He's my favorite player. I think he's definitely the best player in the NHL right now. And it would be a shame to see, one of the greatest players not win a cup. So it's the sooner he gets it, the better I'll feel that he got over the hump. I hate having those players where, it's these great players, but they never get the championship.
Yeah. But isn't Marchand on the Panthers? Is that right?
Yes, but so there's a I don't know how much you
Um,
you came you came into the show probably after we've talked about this. So I only became a Bruins fan probably 5 years ago. I'm a I'm a diehard Montreal Canadiens fan because my dad was. So me and my brother both were born and raised Canadiens fans. And actually, I became a Bruins fan after he passed away, so he's probably like looking down at me, pissed off. So I was a Canadians fan and hated Marchand at that point. And then it took, even when I became a Bruins fan, it was hard for me to really, you know, like him. And he finally won me over last year when wanted to. I feel he played different last year because he wanted to be the captain once Bergeron retired. So he became more of a player that I liked. I didn't like him being the annoyance type player, which now he's with Florida. He fits in perfect with that team, playing his old style, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's back to the old Brad Marchand,
okay. You don't
but
think that's enough
oh,
for them to win?
it's gonna be good. I mean, both games have been one separated by a goal. Both games were won by one goal. So it's I think it goes 7. I like Edmonton's chances because game 7 will be in Edmonton. So I nod, and I also want them to win over Florida. So see, I don't know how, like, you're away from New England, so it's there's a not a before Marchand was there, traded there, nobody up here liked Florida. And now that he's there, I think some people, because he's there, are like, oh, it'd be nice if he won another cup. But there's still a lot of people that hate Florida more than like Marchand being there.
Well, I think it's like the whole Brady thing, right? I mean, I know Marchand's not Brady, but when he left to go to Tampa, I bought Tampa stuff.
Oh, I did too. But the thing, Tampa's different. Tampa's not like Florida Panthers are like a Bruins rival right now.
Oh, okay.
So that's why it would be more like if, Brady went to the Jets.
Ooh.
That's what the equivalent would be. It would be like
That's
Mark.
where quarterbacks go and die,
Yeah.
i.e., Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
You see, he signed
Yeah.
the Steelers.
Yes. I saw something. I don't know if it's like I always forget to check the source, but someone sent me a meme that showed the the odds for the Steelers to win before they signed Rodgers, and the odds for them to win after they signed Rodgers was exactly the same. But I
I
but I don't know if that was just a trolling meme or if it was an actual accurate stat or not.
can't believe they're paying him $13 million.
It's actually pretty cheap for a quarterback. You know,
They could have got Russell and whatever the kid's name for a lot less than that, I think.
well, they had them last year and it didn't turn out so well. So,
Yeah, I guess you're right. Uh, the other thing I want to make sure we mention too is I love Nick's drama, right? And the Knicks fired their head coach.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I know a lot of
the
people were
best winning
outraged,
best winning percentage over the last 5 years with this guy, and fire him.
but hey, you look at you what the head coach of the Nuggets got fired. He just won a championship 2 years ago, and then the Mavericks coach got fired too, right? After making to the finals last year. I
No,
think
Jason Kidd's still
oh
there,
kid. I'm trying to think who the
but
other
he
there was another coach
he does
that
have
just won a championship that got fired in
the
the
Knicks
like
have
won a cha-
the Knicks have asked the Dallas Mavericks if they can talk to Jason Kidd. I guess there's mutual interest there.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that. So I wasn't surprised. I know a lot of people are outraged, like, oh, you made it to the conference finals. I'm like, he I don't think I don't think they like his coaching style. Like, he really runs down his players a lot. So I think they were looking for an excuse. Like if he had won it all, they probably would had to keep him. But I think their expectations were higher, especially when you lost to an underdog. You know, you lost to the underdog. You were favored to beat Indiana. So
Yeah, they've got some big decisions to make too this offseason with Cat's contract. And I think the rumor is the reason why Kidd and the Knicks have mutual interest is because the Knicks really want Giannis, and Kidd and Giannis have a really good relationship.
yeah,
But I don't see Dallas letting that happen. But we'll
but
see how it plays out. But
yeah, I don't know. Who knows? They could they traded Luca, so anything can happen.
yeah, I don't know. It's certainly interesting. And Celtics have a lot. I mean, every day I'm hearing something. They can't trade Porzingis because teams think he's a liability, so they're gonna have to add draft picks or stuff like that to it. I just think I
I mean,
don't
I
think that.
think the thing with Porzingis is how they have to prove that he's healthy again. You know, the reason why he played so bad was because of that virus that he got. So they have to prove that he's over that before. Like, I don't think any team will touch. The only thing I could see is because his contract's up after next season. So someone that's looking for a salary dump at the end of next year to make room for some to do something else, I could see him being able to be traded because of that reason.
Yeah. So who do you think is gone before once the championship's over and the draft is over, or even before the draft? Who do you think is going to be traded first?
I think Drew Holiday's probably the first shoe to drop because there's a lot of teams would love to have him. So I think he would be the first that could leave. Hauser, I think, is also signed, so I know I think they want to get rid of Hauser, but I don't know how easy it will be. Who knows? I mean,
I'd
it
hate to see him go, but because I watched him when he played for the Maine Celtics.
yeah,
I even met his parents. So it's cool that he's still playing and playing at a high level, but I think they've got a really clean house, and I don't know what they do with Al,
yeah.
what they do with Cornette.
Well, yeah, they're both free agents.
I mean, do you bring Al back?
You know, I, the only way I would is like at a veterans exemption minimum. Like if he wants to play that bad, he could come back as a what, like a $5 million player, but I don't see them giving them 17 million again.
No,
Especially if they know there's probably not a good chance that they're going to have a run at the championship next year. I don't see them bringing them back for big money.
how do you think they're going to do without? Let's say they keep KP, they get rid of Hauser, they get rid of Drew, and they bring in a couple other people to fill in their spots,
Yeah.
but it's Brown, it's Peyton, KP, Al, whoever else they have in that mix.
If you know if they bring back that core that you're talking about right there, and Porzingis is healthy, is no not how he was during the playoffs. If he's healthy with him and Brown that's you have two elite players still. So you can have a really good regular season, and then if Tatum comes back at the end of the season, I mean you're you're probably a lower seed, but you add Tatum, you can have a pretty good run, I think, in the playoffs if you keep. But I think it's
Like, I certainly think the Celtics, if KP was healthy, they could have beat the Knicks.
oh yeah, yeah, they should have beat them the way they were. They did, they were up 20 points in three out of the 5 games, right?
Yeah, they should have never lost those two first
Yeah.
games.
Yep. It'll be an interesting off season. Also it's gonna how aggressive do they want to get under all the salary tax and all that stuff to because they can reset. I think it's this I don't know all the language and all like how to get under and
They
so
need
you
to get
have
under the second apron. They do. I do.
yeah. And so that helps them. So, but actually, I thought they were further away from it. I think they said if they get rid of Hauser and Holiday, that would get them under the where they
The
need to
second
be.
apron. Okay.
I think they're like 49, I think, or 39 million they got to shed to get under where they need to be.
I hate to see Drew go, but I was disappointed how he played the whole playoffs. Like it was just
Well, they're
it wasn't
using
even
him,
playing
but
good defense.
they're using him against the fives. It's like yeah, he can do it, but it's not like the ultimate matchup for him. So he was, you know, you I think they utilized him that way too much. If he just was playing against, uh Brunson, like him and against Brunson and him against Bridges, like the guys his own size, he dominates those guys. But when you're putting in it,
Cat. Yeah.
yeah, it's hard to like, yeah, he can stand his ground, but they got way too much size over him.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess I didn't really realize that, but every time I saw him guard Brunson, it's like Brunson cooked him.
Brunson's good.
He's really
It's
good.
it's hard. I mean,
Knowing
he can plus I don't know. Like when you watch it closely, like in a 7 games or 6 game series, and even at watching him against Indiana, it's like he makes room illegally, and they don't call it. Like he's like grabbing people's jerseys and pulling them aside so he can get room. And I mean, if you're gonna let those guys do that, there's no way you can defend that. Like you could be the best defender in the league, and you're not gonna be able to defend guys pushing you away and grabbing you and stuff like that. So
he gets away with a lot and
yeah,
complains everything.
yeah, that's the other the players complain way too much. Like it's crazy how much and the way that the stars did it in like the 80s and 90s, they wouldn't throw up their hands every time and be that was a foul. They would they would jog down the court next to the ref and they'd have a little conversation on the way down. Say, hey, just watch him. He's grabbing my shorts and said, like, Larry Bird used to get, if he had a tearaway jersey, he'd be naked on the court every night. He got grabbed and pulled so much.
Yeah.
Same
No,
with Jordan and like Kobe too. Yeah, like they got grabbed so much, and I hate this. It's like a whole different uh set of rules when it comes to the playoffs.
they let him get away with a lot more. That's
Yeah,
for sure. And they should. I mean, it's a lot more at stake, and there's a lot more eyes.
but the thing is, I think like if you called it the way it should be called, stuff it's not like you're going to be blowing the whistle every 2 seconds because people will know, okay, I can't get away with that stuff. So I
No, they'll adjust, right? I wonder who. I don't know. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm nervous about the Celtics of what they're going to do at the end of the year, and I'm concerned of how far are they going to go. Like I don't want to, as a fan, I don't want to lose Brown, and I don't want
yeah.
to lose White. You know what I mean? I think there's got to be some untouchables that they've got in mind, and I don't really
Yeah,
want to lose.
I
I
think
think
in their head they probably
KP,
have an idea like going forward, like do are they planning on keeping the two J's together going long term? If not, then this is the time, if they had in their mind that they were going to get rid of Brown, this is the time to do it because you don't have Tatum next year. So you can convince us the fans that we didn't have a great shot. We had to shed some salary. You get rid of Brown, you get rid of Porzingis. We know, okay, I think the management could get away with that this year. Especially, you got a new owner, so we're not sure of what he's thinking going forward as far as money, spending money.
right?
That's why I think it could be a really hard reset. Like you, it could be like you have Peyton Pritchard and Derek White starting, or like your big guys next year.
And try to hope they get something in the draft
Well,
or go after Giannis.
so I've heard next year's draft is supposed to be like 7, 8 players deep, like legit players coming out next year. And so if you could get one of those guys and then you bring in, so you have salary cap room to sign someone next off season, a big piece. You get Tatum back and you bring in, I don't know who would be a free agent, and even, I mean, you have space, so you'd be able to trade for someone at that point. So there's a lot of flexibility if they do that, and I think that the local fans wouldn't be too, that's what it's the balancing act. Like the Red Sox are getting killed because they haven't really done a lot as far as signing, and
Yeah,
they just keep waiting for the young talent to come up. But if you um I think they could convince Celtics, with the green teamers, as one station calls them, that, hey, we're just going to take a quick setback for one season, get things back that we could make another run after that. Where if, Tatum stayed healthy and they win it all this year, it would, you're going for three in a row. It would be hard to make some of those, to make those decisions and have the fans say, "Hey, what are you doing? Why aren't we going for three in a row?" But now
yeah.
they kind of have an out.
I really wanted them to win this year too. I've never seen a back-to-back Celtics, right? So we came
Yeah.
close with the 2018, right? Um, I think
Another thing with the Celtics that's gonna be, will they change their philosophy? Like
I think they
they
have
they
to.
they basically lost because of the philosophy. We're just gonna take threes all the time.
Yeah, we're gonna take more threes than anybody else.
Yeah. So
I think they have
does
to. I think they have to get back to. because when they move, when that ball is popping all over
Oh,
the place,
they're they're
they're unstoppable.
unbeatable. And they have games like that. They with those games where they're demolishing teams, yes, they're hitting threes, but they're moving the ball around so much to get open looks all the time. And it seems like those games where they let teams back into it, they start playing the hero, maybe not so much hero ball where it's just dribble, wait, and then the guy takes over, but they've slowed down the pace, maybe one or two passes, and then they take a shot. When they're at their best, they're pushing the ball up, moving the ball around, you and plus you get in a flow too. Because I think that's also what happens is they get out of their flow when they slow the ball down. Like
Yeah,
there's so much when you're shooting. I don't, you play basketball at all? Did you
me,
play
yeah,
the yeah, yeah. So you know, like it's when you're in the flow of things, it things go better than when if you're just standing around and oh, got to make a move. It's so much harder, like being flat-footed to work properly.
yeah. I agree with you on that. I think they've got to change their offense a little bit. They need to need to have that penetration dribble, and then passing it out and moving that ball around. The defenders are just running all over the place trying to catch the next person that's got the ball.
Yep. And I
Uh,
feel so I've been watching the like OKC and the Pacers. They they don't switch a lot on their defense, but the Celtics do a lot of switching, which gives the other team they look for certain matchups. If your guy's running through picks to stay on the guy he's supposed to be with, that's a huge difference. That's what Indiana did, and that's what like Brunson against the Celtics could get the matchup he wanted, because we switched every time. But then like against the Pacers, their top defensive guy was staying on him. Like um, Neesmith was staying on him.
that kid's nuts.
Yeah,
Even when he played for the Celtics, I thought he was nuts.
yeah.
He's really nuts when he plays Indiana. I watched that game yesterday, and I was just like, okay, did we forget how to dribble the basketball? There was so many turnovers that first half. I was like, can
Well, that's the thing. So
we go so
both
fast?
OKC and Indiana kind of have a similar defensive style. They're always going after the ball, they're grabbing the ball, trying to get their hands into the passing lanes. So they both turn the ball over quite a bit. So that's what it can. I think both games started out that way, very ugly with a
Sloppy.
lot of turnovers. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it kind of it takes a quarter or two to figure out how the other team's approaching you tonight. 'Cause that's the other thing. I don't think uh Missoula is great at making uh in-game changes.
he's very stubborn in his ways, right? It appears he's
Yeah.
lost quite a few games like that. I thought Brad was very good at that
Yes.
when he was a coach.
Yep.
I thought Udoka was good at that as a
Yep.
coach.
Yep.
Um, I'm I'm hopeful that he'll start to evolve a little bit. I mean, you got to remember he's young. This
Yeah, you have to make changes because they're if you're playing against a good team, they're gonna change what they're doing because if something's not working, they're gonna change, and you need to adapt to it. If you don't adapt, you just keep doing the same thing, then what happened against the Knicks happens.
right. Before I forget, I want to make sure we get into the New England Patriots, or Timmy will have my head on a platter. Uh, so we're good with the way the roster looks.
Yeah, it's so I guess the thing is that Drake May's learning a new offense again. So he had a new offense to learn last year. He's learning a new one with McDaniels there, and
I
he's
can't
he's
believe he's back. Can you?
yeah.
It's like
Eh,
he's like the boomerang.
yeah, yep. And so I guess he's had some tough um practices, but also the Patriots defense is pretty good. They were decent and then they got a lot better over the offseason. So
That was one of
he's
their big focal points, right? Is getting
yeah.
defensive players. I mean, they drafted quite a few, but they signed a lot of few as well.
So hopefully he doesn't get frustrated that he has to realize he's playing against a pretty good defense in practice. So um and some of those guys know McDaniel's tendencies, so they can kind of be ahead of the game that way. If you're slow and like methodically trying to learn the playbook and going through plays that way, it might be easy for the defense to figure out what you're doing. But I just that's the only problem I have is like everything with a quarterback is confidence. And if you lose your confidence, it can be hard to get back and you can lose a really good talented quarterback due to that.
Yeah, because we're approaching year three, right? This is how long we kept Mac Jones, right? We got him 3 years.
No, this is Drake May's second year.
Second year. Is it
Yep.
really?
Yep.
Wow, feels like three. All
Yeah.
right. Mac Jones, speaking of him, he's on the 49ers. You know
Oh, I did not know that.
that? I found that out yesterday. I was like, what?
I
I
still
thought he was
can't
still at the
believe
Jack.
they signed Brock Purdy to like a huge contract. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work out when they could have gone after a number of different quarterbacks. I mean, the one, the Kirk Cousins in Atlanta would have been perfect to go
Yeah.
after.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with him because he's definitely not happy down there right now.
Yeah, I like the fact that Drake May is actually, being a vocal leader this year. Like it
Yeah.
seems like in the OTAs, he's talking a lot more to the players and he's commanding a lot more, where you didn't see that last year.
And even though, he was on the boat with some pink questionable powder and a bag, Stephon's Diggs has come to OTAs. He was there last Monday. He is really good with the young players, young wide receivers especially. And that was the word out of Houston and Buffalo is that, despite all his antics that you see on game day, and it's just a guy being passionate that he wants the ball, but he is a really good teammate and he works with the young players so that hopefully we can get something out of the receivers that we drafted last year.
Yeah, I mean, I was disappointed when I saw that video and I was like, oh gosh, here we go again,
Yeah.
right? But I'm guessing that if he wasn't cutting and doing what he's doing in practice, they probably would have let him go.
Yeah. He's so it looks like
So
they've
the
given
schedule's
them
out.
another chance.
Yeah, the schedule's out for the Patriots. Are you going to go to any of the preseason games?
Probably uh I can never say no, but I doubt it.
Because they have what is it? They got Commanders in August on the 8th, and they've got the Vikings in Minnesota, and then they're in New York. So you only got one game that you could go to.
Yeah, that's and they don't give you a discount on it. And if it's against the Commanders, you're probably not seeing
No, you're definitely not going to
Daniels,
see
so
anybody.
it's like who you're going just to see a game and they're still charging you premium prices. So
Yeah.
probably not. If I got free tickets, I would go, but
So Raiders and the Patriots opening day. Who you got?
I like the Patriots.
Okay. Patriots in Florida playing against the Dolphins. Who you got?
That's always a tough one for the Patriots. The in the summer heat down in
It's a 1 o'clock game too.
yeah.
It's gonna be
I'll probably have to give the nod to the Dolphins on that one.
okay. And then Steelers in New England.
Patriots.
Okay. So they're 2-1 after that. All right. Panthers and the Patriots.
Patriots.
3-1. Patriots and the Bills
Which is that? Which one's that? Is that at Buffalo or in
at Buffalo. Yeah.
at Buffalo? Okay, Buffalo.
All right. So they're 3-2.
Yep.
Patriots and the Saints.
Patriots.
4-2. Which is how many wins they had last year, right?
Yep.
So then you got Patriots in Tennessee.
Patriots.
All right, 5-2. Browns and Patriots,
Patriots.
6-2. Falcons and Patriots in New England,
Patriots.
7-2. Patriots in Tampa Bay,
I'll go. I'll give Tampa that one.
7-3. All right. Jets in New England,
Patriots.
eight and what do we say? Eight and
Three.
three.
8-3.
8-3. All right. Patriots in Cincinnati against the Bengals.
Cincy.
All right, so that's 8-4. Giants and the Patriots in New England.
Patriots.
Patriots
Patriots.
9-4. Bills in New England.
I think they take one from the Bills, and yeah. So, ooh, 10-4.
10-4. All right. Patriots in Baltimore against the Ravens.
Baltimore.
All right, so 10-5. Patriots against the Jets in New York.
Patriots.
So that's 12-5. Dolphins in New England.
Patriots. Well, yeah, I'll say Patriots, but that could, those games are tough because it might not mean anything for one team and they rest players, but I'll give it to
It's
Patriots. So,
January 1st, bro. It's going to be cold.
yeah.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's the 4th. January 4th.
So 12-5. 12-5.
Yeah.
That's 17 games now, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So 12-5. Yeah, I had even when they didn't have the schedule, but you knew the teams they were going to be playing this year. I had them around 10 wins, I thought. And
Well, now you're going to write it down. You have them for 12.
12,
12,
12.
they're
Why
definitely
I
making the
feel
playoffs.
see, I'm trying to remember which one I changed because my son and I did it, and I think I had him at 10. So I have two more wins than I did before.
You felt the
But
pressure.
but I think they have a good chance for 10. Like things go, you know, off here and there on the way, but I feel comfortable with saying 10 wins, which puts them in the possible playoff spot. And you know, Drake May won 2 games last year as a starter, so that's 8 more than he won last year.
Yeah.
That's a huge step, but it
That's
can happen. I mean, look at the Commanders last year. They went they had a number. Did they get the number one pick or the number two pick?
number
Jaden's go two. Yeah, Jaden Daniels went two.
2.
So
Yeah.
they had the second pick in the draft. So they had, I think probably um 2 wins, maybe 4 wins, and then they make it to the NFC conference championship game last year.
Is there something on this roster that needs to change before opening day?
I don't. Just developed the wide receivers. I mean, they have some. Figure they got Diggs. They got Macklin, right? Is Hollins, Mac Hollins, and I think Kendrick Bourne emerges again. He had a decent year, his first year with the Patriots, and that was under McDaniel's offense. So I think you got three kind of veteran receivers out there, and then if you can get one or two of the young guys to step up, I think you got a pretty good chance on offense. I love the running back from Ohio State,
Yeah, I do too.
Henderson. So I and their defense is their defense, especially against a. So you figure they have a last place schedule they're playing this year, and that defense is gonna be one of the best defenses. And stat wise, that just made me want to draft them as my defensive fantasy.
I'm definitely going to take him when I do fantasy this year. If they're available, I'm going to take him.
I mean, you think they they're going to be playing against um
If they win 12 games, it's gonna a majority of it's gonna be because of their defense.
yes. I mean, you figure that they're they play against two elite quarterbacks in Burrows and oh, crap. When I'm not in the season, I forget everyone's name. The Buffalo quarterback.
Oh, now you've made me forget.
I can't. Josh Allen.
Josh Allen.
Okay,
Oh,
so they they got Josh Allen and Joe Burrows. Those are two elite quarterbacks they're playing against.
I mean,
Then they
the guy that
have
played in Baltimore is pretty good too.
oh yeah, Lamar. Sorry, yeah.
Lamar.
So three elite quarterbacks they play against, and
Yeah,
then they have Baker Mayfield, Aaron Rodgers, okay quarterbacks. The rest of them it's a lot of question marks and
definitely.
a couple of rookie quarterbacks. So that defense could put up monster numbers this year. So that's what was it, five decent quarterbacks. That's the five losses we have them getting.
Yeah,
I know they got the Raiders have Geno Smith now, but I I think they needed a lot more help there and
it's still
didn't
the
really
Raiders.
do it.
Though. They're
Yeah.
terrible. They're still the Raiders.
Yep.
It will be interesting to see what happens with Cousins. I think there's no room for him to start anywhere that I can see.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right. You just an injury happens and
I was thinking
um
maybe Miami, because of the quarterback they
Tua.
have there.
Yeah.
Tua is always getting injured, right?
Yep.
But I mean, there's nothing right now, and I was shocked that they didn't get any offers for him with everything that's going around, especially Cleveland. All right, Cleveland has like this.
Oh yeah.
They have like 10 quarterbacks. Like who's starting? I don't know.
Yeah. 10 rookies.
Yeah,
I think that did the yeah, they have like veteran backups and rookies. That's it.
yeah,
No,
all I got. We don't really have much of a backup either. I mean, we got what Dobbs, is that
yeah.
who
Which
had?
I'm fine with that because I think if you kept um Milton, Milton the
Oh,
third,
yeah, well, he
that
was a good case.
if May just because of what he did at the end of the year, people have that in their mind like, oh, he could do good. He could, if May has a bad game, they start calling for him. No one's going to be calling for Dobbs over May, no matter how bad May looks. So I think that helps. You don't hear, um, again, it's the whole thing with keeping the quarterback's confidence. If he has a couple bad games, you don't want people saying, "Oh, we should put Joe Milton in." So
Yeah,
I think that was a good move by them. Which last year I don't think they should have kept. What the hell? The shit. The guy that was there with oh god, drawing a blank. Like I thought they should have just had Milton and May last year and maybe bring in a veteran, but they had oh what the hell was the
oh,
other
Jacoby,
quarterback?
Jacoby, Brissett.
No, they brought Brissett, but they had the other kid that oh, or did they release him before the season started? Oh, maybe they released him. The oh my god. Who was the guy with Jones going back and forth?
Oh yeah, I can't think of that kid's name
Zappy,
either.
Zappy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He played pretty good.
Yeah.
He
But
had
I
some-
like he was there during training camp, but I think they got rid of him before the
Yeah,
season
you're right.
started. Like, but that didn't make sense that he was on the roster at all last year.
All right, so any last words? We're right up against time here.
Uh, maybe hopefully this lights a fire in the Red Sox organization, and we go on a little winning streak. Tampa Bay's ahead of them in the standings, so um, we can sweep them. You know, things get a little bit happier around here.
It's
Like I'm 7
o'clock start, right?
My yeah, 7-10. So in the standings right now, so Boston is 4 games behind Tampa and Toronto. Toronto and Tampa are 4.5 games out of first, and we're 8.5 games out of first.
Okay.
And let's see, wild card wise, they're only 4 games out of the last wild card spot. So they're behind Minnesota, Tampa, and Toronto are all tied with the same record for the wild card spot. So they're 4 games out of playoffs. So if we get it, get things, and they don't have to go on a 20-game winning streak. They just have to win each series, win 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3. Don't look at taking too much of a bite, just a little bite. Win 2 out of 3 every week at every series, That's all they need to do. Get back in it.
All right. Well, you heard it here first. For Rubber Shoes and Corey Smith.
Oh, have a happy Father's Day this weekend.
Oh, happy Father's Day. We want to give another shout out to our lovely sponsor.
AAA Work Trucks. I won't give the whole spiel this time, but thank you, Joey and Leslie.
We love you. We'll see you next time.